Welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever kept bumping into the exact same stranger at a coffee shop?
Oh, like noticing them over and over until it starts to feel deliberate?
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe you find the numbers 11.1 following you around like a shadow.
Showing up on your phone, the
Yeah.
microwave, everywhere?
Right, your grocery receipts. And it begs a rather profound question for you. What if these aren't just random glitches in your day?
Right.
What if they are, breadcrumbs leading you toward a major life transition, and specifically leading you to a significant romantic connection?
It's a fascinating concept because it really forces us to examine how we interact with the world around us. I mean, human beings are by nature pattern-seeking machines.
Mm.
We constantly sift through the mundane, just looking for a broader narrative.
Mm.
And, well, the stakes of that search become incredibly high when it comes to finding love.
They really do. And that brings us to our mission for today's deep dive. We're unpacking some really fascinating excerpts from a text titled Psychic Signs and Synchronicities Before Finding Love.
Yeah, which focuses heavily on the insights of Tina Aldea Psychic.
Exactly. The goal today is to unpack these strange coincidences. We're looking at everything from repeating numbers to, premonitory dreams, all these things people report experiencing right before meeting a significant partner.
It's a wide spectrum of experiences.
It really is. And reading through the sources, I kept thinking about a movie director.
Oh, how so?
Well, you know how a really skilled director deliberately places Easter eggs or foreshadowing in the early scenes of a romantic comedy?
Right, like a lingering shot of a yellow umbrella.
Yes. Or a specific song playing on the radio in the background. The source material suggests that our actual reality might operate with similar narrative clues.
Like they're dropped just before a major character enters your storyline.
Exactly.
I like that analogy. Framing it as narrative foreshadowing provides a really useful lens. And what the text establishes early on is that the stakes are the same, regardless of your personal belief system.
What do you mean by that?
Well, whether you view these events through a spiritual lens like cosmic guidance, or strictly as psychological pattern recognition, they offer a profound look into how we navigate personal transformation.
Ah, I see. It shows how we ready ourselves for deep connections.
All right. And to truly understand how this works, we have to start with the most common, tangible signs.
The environmental clues. The ones that seem to just demand our attention.
Exactly. The physical signs in the world around us.
Yeah, so to start, the text talks about repeating number sequences. It describes them as a sort of universe's pager.
That's a great way to put it. People constantly report seeing 111, 222, 333, and of course 11.11.
11.11 is everywhere. It happens on license plates, digital clocks, random addresses, and the source material shares Sarah's story as a prime example of this.
Right. Sarah's experience is really striking.
It is. So Sarah ended a long-term relationship, and she made this very deliberate decision to just stop dating entirely, to focus on rebuilding her own life.
A total reset.
Yeah, a complete reset. And during this specific period, she started seeing 11.11 everywhere.
And it's the sheer frequency that matters here. It wasn't just once or twice.
No, not at all. She notes checking into a hotel and being assigned room 1111.
Wow.
She'd see it on random grocery receipts, social media timestamps, and she'd glance at the clock at that exact minute every single morning.
Which builds this immense internal feeling.
Right. She described an overwhelming sense that something important, something monumental was approaching. And then a few months into this heightened state, she attended a friend's gathering and met her future husband.
Just an incredible sequence of events. And her story is presented right alongside others who, hear the same obscure song on different radio stations.
Or meaningful symbols popping up.
Yeah, or even getting random advice from strangers that perfectly maps onto a secret situation they're going through.
Okay, I have to pause here, though. I really need to channel the skeptical listener for a second.
Go for it.
Because when I hear Sarah's story, I immediately think of that classic car buying scenario.
Oh, right. The red car.
Yeah. You decide you want a red car, and suddenly every single vehicle on the highway appears to be red. But I mean, the red cars were always there.
They were.
So aren't we just projecting meaning onto a random hotel room or a receipt because we secretly want a sign? Isn't the brain just doing that filter thing?
You're completely right to bring that up. You're talking about the frequency illusion or the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon.
Right.
And it operates through a specific mechanism in the brain called the reticular activating system, or the RAS.
The RAS.
Yeah. Think of the RAS as like a highly selective bouncer at the door of an exclusive nightclub.
Okay, I love this analogy. So the brain is the nightclub.
The brain is the nightclub, which is your conscious awareness. And the bouncer is deciding which sensory information gets past the velvet rope.
Got it.
Because at any given moment, your brain is bombarded by roughly 11 million bits of sensory information per second.
11 million. Wow.
Sight, sound, temperature, everything. If you processed all of it consciously, you would literally collapse from cognitive overload.
So the bouncer has to be strict.
Extremely strict. It filters out 99.9% of it. It only lets in stuff that threatens your survival or stuff you've decided is personally important.
Oh, I see. So when you decide to buy a red car, you put red cars on the bouncer's VIP list.
Exactly. And suddenly the bouncer lets every red car into the club.
Okay, so that makes the environmental science feel a little less mystical, right? Like if Sarah is subconsciously focusing on fresh starts, maybe she just put 11.11 on her VIP list. Her brain is just finally noticing what was already there.
The text actually acknowledges this perfectly. But, and this is the crucial part, it pivots to a deeper question.
Which is?
Even if it is just a psychological filter highlighting what's already there, it still signifies a massive shift in the person's internal focus.
Oh, interesting.
Think about periods of deep stress or burnout in your own life. You probably walked around with your head down, right?
Definitely. I barely notice anything when I'm stressed.
You didn't notice the numbers, the music, the strangers. Your bouncer was basically turning everyone away at the door because the club was closed for maintenance.
That makes so much sense.
So when Sarah's subconscious suddenly became highly attuned to these subtle environmental patterns, it meant she had moved from a closed-off state to one of heightened observations. She was waking up.
The club was reopening.
Exactly. The sign isn't the receipt. The sign is her capacity to notice the receipt.
Wow, that totally reframes it. But seeing numbers on a receipt is one thing. What happens when these synchronicities blur the lines even further, when they move from the environment into our subconscious minds?
You're talking about the transition into dreams.
Yes, premonitory dreams. The text makes a really sharp distinction here. We aren't talking about those chaotic dreams where, your high school math teacher is suddenly a talking dog.
Right. No, these are vivid, structurally coherent, and emotionally significant dreams.
Yeah, where people dream of a partner's facial features or their voice before ever meeting them in real life.
Michael's experience in the text is a perfect example of this.
It really is. So Michael had this recurring dream over 2 whole years.
2 years is a long time for a recurring theme.
It is. And in it, he's walking with a woman in a very specific city park. But the wild part is the woman is completely faceless in the dream.
Yet he vividly remembers her.
Exactly. He wakes up remembering the exact cadence of her voice and her personality. He carries this emotional memory for 2 years.
And neurologically, dreams are where our brains process emotions. For a dream to recur with that much intensity, it creates a deep psychological mold.
And then years later, he meets a woman through a mutual friend.
And what happens?
During their very first conversation, she suggests they go to a park. And she describes a location that looks exactly like the one in his dream.
It's wild. Now, skeptics might point to memory bias here, saying he retroactively updated a fuzzy dream to match reality.
Right, editing the movie script after the fact to make it more romantic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to the person experiencing it, the emotional reality is undeniable.
Absolutely. And then the source material moves from dreams to actual flesh and blood chance meetings.
Repeated encounters in places like airports, bookstores, public transport.
Yes, Emma and Daniel's story. They cross paths at a busy train station first, just brief eye contact.
Then a bookstore a week later.
Right, walking down the same aisle. Then weeks after that, a networking event in the city.
3 impossible to ignore encounters.
But they still don't speak. It takes a 4th completely separate encounter before Daniel finally introduces himself, which leads to a serious relationship.
It builds up over time.
Which brings up a question for me. I mean, why does the universe play coy?
How so?
Well, if Emma and Daniel are supposed to be together, why 4 encounters? Why not just have them bump into each other, drop their books, and laugh on day 1 at the train station?
That's a great question. And the text explains that it comes down to the inescapable gravity of repeated encounters.
Correct.
Yeah. We have a lot of natural social hesitation. We're conditioned to ignore strangers, especially in transit.
That's true. We put our headphones in and look down.
Right. But seeing someone 4 times strips away the excuse of mere coincidence. It forces 2 individuals to pay attention. It compels action, because ignoring the pattern becomes weirder than just saying hello.
Oh, it breaks down the friction.
Exactly.
Okay, that brings us to section 3, which is really about the catalyst of transformation. We've talked about what happens, the signs, the dreams, the encounters, but the most revealing part of the source material is when it happens.
The timing is everything.
Right, because what triggers these signs, the text highlights a major revelation. These coincidences rarely happen when someone is desperately searching for a partner.
Which seems counterintuitive at first.
Totally. You'd think looking harder would help you find them.
But instead, the text notes they occur during deep personal transformation, like healing from heartbreak, building self-confidence, or just creating a fulfilling life on your own.
It's like, okay, think about trying to catch a butterfly. Okay.
When you're running around wildly with a net, swinging at everything, you just scare it away.
You're creating chaos.
Exactly. But when you sit quietly, put the net down, and focus on tending to your own garden, the butterfly just lands quietly on your shoulder.
That is a beautiful analogy for what the text is explaining. When individuals align with their authentic selves, they aren't clouded by desperation.
Because desperation creates, like, a blind spot.
Yes. When you are desperately lonely, you project your needs onto everyone. You try to force a puzzle piece into a spot where it just doesn't fit.
Right, just to feel like the puzzle is finished.
Exactly. So the timing of these synchronicities suggests that the signs were always present. Daniel was probably always at the coffee shop.
But Emma couldn't see him before.
Right, because she wasn't ready to see him. Letting go of unhealthy patterns clears the static, allowing you to finally notice the opportunities that were there all along.
If you're listening feeling frustrated, it's about tending to your own garden first.
Precisely. So if personal readiness is the key, how do these coincidences practically help us take the final leap into a relationship?
They provide immense emotional utility.
The power of belief.
Exactly. Recognizing signs gives people hope during lonely periods. It motivates them to stay open-minded and creates a comforting sense of connection to something larger.
It builds trust in the process. And people actively explore this curiosity, right? The source details the work of Tina Aldea Psychic.
Yes, the personalized soulmate sketches.
Right. She uses her intuitive and artistic talents to create these sketches based on energetic impressions from psychic readings. People use them to get insight into the qualities of their future partner.
It gives them something tangible to hold on to.
But wait, getting a sketch of your future soulmate, doesn't that run a huge risk of giving you tunnel vision?
How do you mean?
Like, you could end up ignoring a genuinely great person standing right in front of you just because their nose doesn't match the drawing on your fridge.
That is a very valid concern. If used rigidly, it absolutely creates the tunnel vision you're talking about. But the expert synthesis in the text frames it differently.
Okay, how so?
It's not about an absolute guarantee of when or exactly how love will appear. It's an exercise in remaining open.
So it's not a GPS coordinate.
Exactly. Whether it's a psychic sketch or noticing 11.11, these tools act as psychological anchors.
Anchors, meaning they keep you grounded.
They keep you hopeful. Think about how easy it is to become cynical after heartbreak.
Oh, very easy. Just build walls.
Right. An anchor like a sketch or a repeating number disrupts that cynicism. It keeps a person curious and receptive to the unexpected paths life reveals. It stops you from closing the door completely.
Ah, I see. It's the internal reaction it provokes that matters, not just the literal ink on the page.
Precisely. It keeps you in the game.
Wow. Well, that brings us to the end of today's deep dive. And as we wrap up, I think the biggest takeaway is that while great love stories often begin with what looks like a strange coincidence, a recurring number, a vivid dream, a familiar stranger on a train, the real magic happens because the person was internally ready to notice it.
The internal readiness is the true catalyst.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a final, really lingering question to ponder.
It does. If the source material is right, and the most meaningful signs only become visible when we finally stop desperately looking for them, what profound opportunities or signs in your own life are you completely missing right now, simply because you're trying way too hard to find them?
Something to think about while you tend your garden.